in film industry. Do you remember from last class, from the previous class?
Then there are some students is the how can I say? I forgot. Que não estiveram presentes na última aula. Tem umas
Okay.
2 ou 3 alunas que hoje é a primeira aula. Eu tô tentando aqui também, gente, é sobre. Como eu falei, a primeira aula a gente está aprendendo junto.
No problem. Now, for the students who are here for the first time,
Yeah.
I would like to ask the students who were present last class to help your colleagues. Can you talk about what we discussed last class?
Kat, do you want to talk about?
Yes, about what we talked about last class. Do you remember that we talked about people who are involved, jobs that are involved in the film industry, like in cinema? And do you remember some of them? I just mentioned the producers, okay, and what more do you remember? I would name cinematographer, director, actors, right? Actors are very important too. Do you agree? I believe that the previous class people will be available for the ones who could not participate. Is that right, Laís?
Sorry.
I believe that the last class will be possible for the people who were not present to watch later. Is it possible? Was it recorded?
Eu acho. Você pode falar em português? Algumas coisas para mim não ficaram muito claras.
Ok. Não, sem problema, no problem. É que eu acredito, como tem pessoas pela primeira vez que não assistiram a aula passada, né, the previous class, para essas pessoas, eu acredito que vai ficar disponível a aula passada, né, para elas assistirem.
Sim.
Ótimo, que aí vocês não vão perder, né, o fio da meada, vocês vão conseguir acompanhar direitinho aí todo esse processo. E eu pedi agora no começo para as pessoas que assistiram a aula passada, né, darem aí, falarem um pouco do que nós falamos, né, em poucas palavras, se vocês lembram o assunto, quais foram os trabalhos, as funções, né, utilizadas na indústria cinematográfica. Aí eu gostaria de ouvir vocês também, para vocês mostrarem para quem chegou hoje e vocês acompanharam a aula direitinho. Mas não precisa dar uma aula, é só falar um pouquinho do que a gente viu, né, do que a gente comentou na aula passada. Can you help me with that? And can you help your colleagues?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
I was in the last class. We talked about like the functions on the cinema, screenwriter, actors, cinematographers. I don't remember more.
Great. Thank you for your help. This is good. And what was your impression of this? I mean, did you learn a lot, or was something that you already knew before?
No, I learned like about the word actress. That was a word that I used to use. I always said like I'm an actress because I thought that was the female word for the actor. So I not using anymore. I'm just an actor. And I didn't know that before.
Great, thank you for your participation. Anybody else would like to speak a little bit about last class? So now we are going to start. I'm going to ask you to participate by reading. So this part, I mentioned what we talked about, okay, the various types of jobs employed by the film industry, right? And film producers, I would like to talk a little bit about them today. Let's talk about film producers today a little bit. So who volunteers to read this paragraph, just this paragraph here? I need a volunteer. People, as I said last class, it's very important that you read out loud and that you speak, that you say things, because learning to read English is one thing, and learning to speak English is you only learn if you keep practicing. You need to, open your mouth and speak, because otherwise you will be like a quiet, a silent reader. You only read English, you won't be able to speak, right? So that's why it's a good idea. You can try now and read this first paragraph, and then we can discuss with you your doubts or questions, if you understand the paragraph, each paragraph. So who volunteers to read? Que, como eu disse, é importante vocês, para vocês aprenderem, adquirirem fluência verbal, né? É importante vocês falarem, ou até mesmo ler em voz alta, porque senão você costuma só ler em inglês, você se torna uma pessoa, em inglês, fica uma pessoa silenciosa. Você lê, até entende, mas você não desenvolve habilidades para falar inglês, efetivamente falar. Então, nessa aula, além de pedir a participação, igual eu pedi agora, né, eu peço para vocês lerem, porque aí também não precisa ler 100% correto, que eu estou aqui para ajudar vocês com pronúncia ou gramática, mas, assim, aproveitem essa oportunidade nesse momento e tentem ler. Então, eu peço aí uma voluntária para poder ler. Quem pode ser?
Ana Beatriz Silva, ela colocou aqui no chat.
A film producer is responsible for overseeing the entire production of a film, from development to distribution. I read again.
Okay.
A film producer is responsible for overseeing the entire production of a film, from development to distribution. They are the key decision makers on the business side of the production and are responsible for assembling the creative team, securing financing, managing the budget, and ensuring the film is completed on time and within budget. The producer is also responsible for securing distribution deals for the film, which involves negotiation with distributors, arranging screenings, and develop and make marketing campaigns to promote the film. Good morning, guys. Sorry.
Very good, Beatriz. Anybody else would like to read? Thank you, Beatriz, Ana Beatriz. Thank you for your participation. And now I have a question, not only for Ana Beatriz, but it's a question for everybody, okay? What do you understand from this paragraph, this word?
I understand the what the film producer do. He's responsible for almost a lot. He's responsible for overseeing the entire production. There's a lot.
Very good. That's it. Anybody else has an answer, has an opinion or a question about this paragraph? Now, people, I'm going to read the paragraph, and you can listen to my pronunciation to check if you have any doubts about pronunciation. A film producer is responsible for overseeing the entire production of a film, from development to distribution. They are the key decision makers on the business side of the production and are responsible for assembling the creative team, securing financing, managing the budget, and ensuring the film is completed on time and within budget. The producer is also responsible for securing distribution deals for the film, which involves negotiating with distributors, arranging screenings, and developing marketing campaigns to promote the film. Do you have questions about the pronunciation from this paragraph?
Ana, pode falar.
What is arranging screenings?
Screenings is referred to areas like locations where they can arrange, means they can go out and see the possibility to choose the best places for screenings of the movie, okay? And so this kind of job, the producer's job, is is also related to the location, okay, the screenings. So they have to arrange this part also of the filmmaking. And does anybody have other question?
Teacher, what is assembling?
Assembling means to put things together. Well, let's give a translation to make it simple. Montar. Okay? So they assemble the creative team. They create the team. They see who is going to participate in the team, right? So they assemble the creative team. Okay, assembling. Do you have other questions about this paragraph? Now continuing, who can read the second paragraph, please?
I can read.
Please. You can.
Producers can work in a variety of roles, including executive producers, line producers, and associate associated producers. The executive producer is often responsible for securing the financing for the film, while the line producer manages the day-to-day operations of the production, including hiring crew members and overseeing the budget. Associated producers often handle specific aspects of the production, such as securing locations or coordinating the logistics of a particular scene. The specific duties of a producer can vary depending on the size and scope of the production, but in general, they are responsible for overseeing the entire production and ensuring that the film is completed successfully.
Thank you, Beatriz. And would you like to talk about it, about the different jobs, different kinds of producers? Not only Beatriz, but other people can also talk about it now, or you can also ask questions about it, about pronunciation, about meaning words, grammar.
I have a question. What the no? What is the line producers? I don't know if it's what or
You mean what does line producer mean?
yeah.
Okay, we are gonna discuss this function in the next upcoming paragraphs. Okay, we will discuss what the line producer is responsible for and what kind of job he takes care of. Does anybody have another question?
I have questions about the pronunciation of some words,
Sure.
like specifics.
Okay, specific. Let me see where you are reading. What line are you?
No, it's like the words with the engine and
Specific
C,
words.
specific and logistics.
Okay. Okay, so when you talk about logistics, you use S, okay? And specific, you don't need S, because specific is an adjective, and adjectives in English never take the plural form. So you will see the word aspect is in the plural because it's a noun, but the word specific doesn't take an S at the end because it's an adjective. And when you say logistics, this S is not for plural, okay? This S here is not for plural. The word logistics is like this, it's with S, but it doesn't mean that it's plural.
Okay. And the word aspects, we have to pronounce the S, aspects.
Aspects, yes, you pronounce
aspects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is a noun and it's in the plural, then you have to pronounce the S. That's good.
Okay. Last question is the word vary.
Okay, vary, okay? This is the verb to vary, okay? Variar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the verb to vary, variar. Similar to Portuguese, vary.
It's the first time that I see with the A.
Okay, yeah. Because you have very with letter E, which means muito, right? Very good, for example. Okay. But very like this, spelled like this, is a verb, okay? So the specific duties of a producer can vary depending on the size and scope of the production. So vary, the meaning variar. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
And there is another word related to vary. Here, you see, you have the verb to vary, and you have the word variety, okay, or variety. So this is the noun, okay, variedade, right? So you have vary, variar, or, variar. And variety or variety is variedade. So producers can work in a variety of roles. So, what else? What other questions do you have, people? About pronunciation or vocabulary or about grammar?
Teacher, what is hiring crew?
Where are you reading?
Plug.
Hiring means contracting, okay?
Okay.
And the crew members are the people who work in the film, in filmmaking. Crew members are like tripulantes, but of course, when you talk about ships, the word crew member means tripulantes. But here you can say workers who are involved in filmmaking. Okay, so
Okay.
one of his jobs is to hire, to contract, okay, crew members and overseeing the budget. Okay, budget.
Yes.
Budget is a very important word, right? Without budget, they can't make a film. Okay. Very good. Anybody else has a question? The next paragraph, we're going to talk a little more about film producers. Film producer, who can read, please? Is there a volunteer? Only this part here. Okay, please.
Film producers play a crucial role in the success of a film production. They are responsible for overseeing all aspects of the production, from the initial idea to the final distribution, and ensuring that the film is completed on time, within budget, and the true satisfaction of the stakeholders. Producers are responsible for securing financing for the film, hiring the creative team, manage the budget, handling logistics, overseeing the production process, and the securing distribution deals.
Great, thank you for your help. Okay, very good. You can ask questions if you have doubts about this paragraph. Does anybody have a question about this?
What is the stakeholders?
Stakeholders são acionistas. Does anybody have another question? I'm going to read this paragraph, and after I read, if you have any doubt about the pronunciation, you can ask me. Film producers play a crucial role in the success of a film production. They are responsible for overseeing all aspects of the production, from the initial idea to the final distribution, and ensuring that the film is completed on time, within budget, and to the satisfaction of all stakeholders. Producers are responsible for securing financing for the film, hiring the creative team, managing the budget, handling logistics, overseeing the production process, and securing distribution deals. Does anybody have questions about the pronunciation? Also, if you have questions about vocabulary or you don't understand some words or grammar. Let's go to the next paragraph. Without a skilled producer, a film production can quickly fall apart. Okay, so who can read this paragraph?
I can read.
Thank you. Okay.
Without a skilled producer, a film production can quickly fall apart. With budget overruns, uh, scheduling delays, and creative conflicts, leading to an inferior product. A successful film producer can help to ensure that a film is completed on time, within budget, and to the highest possible standards, while also helping to secure distribution deals that can bring the film to a wider audience.
Very good. Thank you for your participation. And do you have any question about this paragraph?
What is fall apart?
Fall apart is an expression in Portuguese we say desmoronar. Okay? So that means the producer's job is very important, because if he is not skilled enough, the film production can fall apart. Do you have another question?
And what is wide?
What words?
The last line.
Wider. Okay, wider means, do you know the word wide? Wide is like large, okay? So a wider audience means a bigger audience. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Another student has a question about this paragraph.
What is budget overruns? Overruns, like
Okay, budget overruns. Budget overruns is a serious problem, because, as we read here, if the producer is not skilled enough, it can fall apart. And how does it fall apart? Budget overruns is one of the big problems, because it means that they had one basic budget to produce the film, but they miscalculated and the budget is overrun. It means they are spending much more than they expected to make the film. So this could risk the production, because if maybe they run out of money, if the producer cannot estimate exactly the budget for the film. Okay, do you understand? É como se estourasse o orçamento do filme.
Teacher,
Yes.
you can see the chat?
Ah, okay. Ah, Ana Beatriz, sorry. I didn't look at the chat. Thank you for advising me. I will pay attention, okay?
You're welcome.
Okay. So anybody has another question? If no more question, let's go. Let me read. I read again so that you can check again the pronunciation. Without a skilled producer, a film production can quickly fall apart, with budget overruns, scheduling delays, and creative conflicts, leading to an inferior product. A successful film producer can help to ensure that a film is completed on time, within budget, and to the highest possible standards, while also helping to secure distribution deals that can bring the film to a wider audience. So, no more question about this paragraph.
Now I have one.
Yes.
What is wider? Hider.
Wider.
Yes.
Wider here, you can say bigger, a bigger audience, because, it refers to the public, and it refers to this, also helping to secure distribution deals. If they have good distribution deals, then the film will be seen by a wider audience, by many more people than if they don't have this, if they don't have a good distribution deals. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Anybody else has a question? Let's go to talk about duties and responsibilities. Okay, that's an important part. Who can read for me, please? You can read this part.
I can read, but I have a bird here that is screaming from.
Okay, no
So,
problem.
Just a warning. Okay. Here are some of the specific duties that a film producer may be responsible for. Developing the concept. The producer may be responsible for coming up with the initial concept for the film, or they may work with a writer to develop the script.
Thank you for reading. Do you have questions? So the key word in this paragraph is the word duties, right? And responsibility. And this is what we're going to read next. Anybody has a question? Can we continue? So let's read this part first. Can anybody read? Okay, Ana Beatriz will be right back. Okay. Anybody volunteers to read this part?
I can read.
Yes, thank you.
Securing financing. The producer is responsible for securing the funding needed to make the film, which may involve pitching the project to investors, securing loans or grants, or working with a studio.
Okay. Do you have questions?
What is loans or grants?
Loans or grants? Loans means empréstimos. And grants são concessões. Can be similar, can be also like donations, doações, empréstimos and grants, concessões. It can involve, for example, people grant an area for them to work, or people grant equipment for them to work. Okay. You're welcome. Anybody else has a question about this part? Now, can anybody read this part?
I can read.
Okay, thank you.
Writing the creative team. The producer is responsible for writing the director, writer, cinematographer, and the other key members of the creative team. Creative team. Eu tô com
Okay,
dificuldade de reproduzir. É created.
Creative. Okay.
Creative team.
Yes.
Creative
Creative
team.
Very
Parece
good. And also, let me help you with this word, cinematographer. Okay,
cinematographer.
okay, cinematographer. Does anybody else has a question about pronunciation? So hiring the creative team, okay, this is one of the duties or responsibilities of the producer. So he will hire the director, the writer, the cinematographer, and other key members of the creative team. Do you have more questions? Is there a volunteer for reading this one? Who can read this?
I can read.
Okay.
Managing the budget. The producer is responsible for overseeing the budget for the film, including tracking expenses and making sure that the productions stay within budget.
Okay. The word budget is a key word here, okay, people? It's very important for the producer to manage, okay, to manage the budget. So, do you have questions about this paragraph? You see, one of the major parts, one of the most important parts, including tracking expenses. Okay, it's very important to maintain the budget of the film.
Danilo, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there another word for overseeing? Because
For
in my head,
overseeing,
overtime that we say
yeah,
overseeing is like
there is a good word for overseeing. In English, I think you will understand. Supervising. Okay. Okay,
yeah,
supervising.
because overseeing, every time I say overseeing in my head, it's like corrects me.
Yes, it's this word here. I'm typing in the chat. Supervising. Does it make sense to you? Supervising.
It makes more sense that than overseeing.
Yes. Okay. Well, your question is good because this verb to oversee is a little bit similar to overlook. Okay, but overlook in this case is not good for the producer because overlook means you ignore something, right? And the producer cannot overlook the budget for the film. He has to oversee the budget. Overseeing is to supervise, okay? To do the supervision of the budget for the film. Do you understand? Okay, Tati, you're welcome. Does anybody else has a question about this part? So let's go on to handling logistics. Who can read, please?
I can read.
Yes, please.
Handling logistics. The producer is responsible for handling logistics related to the production, including securing locations, arranging transportation, and coordinating schedules for the cast and crew.
Perfect, thank you. And do you have questions about this paragraph? Okay. Beatriz doesn't have a question. Does anyone else have a question? So let's go to the next one. Can anybody read, please?
I can
Please.
read. Okay.
Yes, yes, please.
You can go, Tati.
No, you can go. You can go.
Overseeing the production. The producer is responsible for overseeing the entire production of the film, including managing the creative team, making sure that the film is completed on time and within budget, and handling any issues that may arise during the production process.
Thank you for reading. Do you have any question?
What is arise?
To arise is, in this context, to appear. Make sense? I will type in the chat the word appear. Okay, this could be a synonym in this context, to arise, to appear. Do you understand? Okay, you understand? Okay. To arise here would be surgir, okay, in Portuguese, surgir. Okay, very good. Does anybody have another question about this part? If not, let's go to the marketing and distribution. Who can read this?
I can read.
Okay.
Marketing and distribution. The producer is responsible for securing distribution. Securing distribution deals for the film, which involves negotiating
Negotiating, okay.
with distributors, arranging screenings and developing marketing campaigns to promote the film. Sorry for the word screening.
It's okay, no problem. So, do you have questions about this?
Just about the distributors.
Distributors. So you have the word distribution, and then you have distributors. Would you like to say it again? Distributors.
Distributors.
Very good. And the other one is distribution.
Distribution.
Not esse BU tem som de bio, ok? Distribution. E aqui é distributors, também tem som de bio, esse BU. Distributors.
Yes,
okay. And distribution. Very good. Does anybody else has a question relating to this? So let's continue. Types of film producers. Who can read, please? Okay.
There are several different types of film producers, each with their own specific roles and responsibilities.
Responsibilities.
Yes, is this?
Responsibility.
Each of these types of producers play a different but important role in the success of a film production. Together, they help to ensure that the film is completed on time, with a budget, and to the highest possible standards.
Very good. So, do you have questions about this?
Responsibilities.
Responsibilities.
How can I say
Responsibilities.
This word, please.
Responsibilities. Can you repeat?
Responsibilities. Right?
A sílaba tônica é B. Okay, B. Responsibilities. Ok? Responsibilities. Ou no britânico, responsibilities.
Ficou baixo para mim, eu não estou conseguindo ouvir.
Ok. Responsibilities. Conseguiu ouvir? Responsibilities.
Eu vou sair e entrar de novo, já volto.
Ok, ok. Does anybody else has a question about pronunciation or grammar or vocabulary? Okay. Can anybody read this part? Executive film producer.
I can read.
Yes, please.
Executive film producer. The executive producer is responsible for securing financing for the film, often working with investors or studios to secure the necessary funding. They may also be involved in developing the initial concept for the film, hiring key members of the creative team, and overseeing the overall production process.
Very good. Thank you for reading. Do you have a question about this part? Now we are breaking down the different kinds of producers. So this first one is the executive film producer. Okay. Does anybody have a question about it?
My question was about the line producer, and
Yes,
we're
that
gonna
we
see.
are gonna cover next. Okay. About this one, nobody has a question. Executive film producer. So let's go to the line producer. Can you read, please?
Me?
Yes, can you?
Okay. Line producer. The line producer is responsible for managing the day-to-day operations of the production, ensuring that the film is completed on time and within budget. They are responsible for hiring crew members, managing the budget, coordinating logistics, and overseeing the physical production of the film.
Okay, do you have questions?
Now I'm good.
Okay. Does anybody has a question about this part? If you don't have any more questions, let's see about the co-producer. Who can read? Who is a volunteer?
I can read.
Okay.
The co-producer works closely with the executive producer and line producer to help oversee the production process. They may be responsible for specific aspects of the production, such as managing the casting process or coordination, post-production production activities.
Very good. Thank you for reading. Do you have a question about the co-producer? If you don't have a question, let's see the associate producer. Who can read, please?
I can read.
Thank you.
Associate producer. The associate producer works closely with the other producers to help oversee specific aspects of the production. They may be responsible for managing locations, coordinating schedules, or handling other logistical tasks.
Very good. Thank you. Do you have any question?
I have one.
Yes.
What's the mean schedules?
What's the meaning of?
This word. Location, coordinating,
Locations, coordinating, schedules.
schedules.
Yeah, schedules are the times that are arranged, dates and times, okay? So the film has a schedule. For example, they are going to shoot one scene tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. So this is the schedule of
Schedules.
the production. The
Thanks.
pronunciation is schedules. So esse DU tem som de DIL, ok?
Schedules.
Right. Schedules. Very good. Okay, people. Anybody has another question about the associate producer? And the creative producer, who can read this?
Creative producer. The creative producer is responsible for overseeing the creative aspects of the production, working closely with the director and other members of the creative team to ensure that the film meets their artistic vision.
Very good. Do you have questions?
I don't know if it's a question, but is there a easily way to say artistic? The like artistic. I don't know. It's a difficulty that I have, because for me it's very difficult.
Your pronunciation is perfect. You are pronouncing it correctly. Artistic. It's correct.
Pera, eu vou falar em português só para. É porque antes de eu falar essa palavra, eu tenho que ler ela, tipo, antes de falar, para minha cabeça entender, porque eu tenho muita dificuldade de falar ela. Então, eu tenho que prestar atenção nela antes de chegar nela.
Também entendi. Mas você pode... Isso daí vem com o tempo, né? A fluência, até na leitura, a fluência vem com o tempo. Algumas, por exemplo, quando você está lendo, acontece comigo, com todos nós, quando nós estamos lendo alguma coisa em voz alta, né? Tem hora que algumas palavras, mesmo na nossa língua, a gente tem que parar um pouco e dar uma olhada, assim, não dá para ler direto às vezes, né? A gente lê direto, normalmente, na nossa língua, mas às vezes uma palavra ou outra que a gente não usa muito, não é muito conhecida nessa língua, tem isso também. Aí, no seu caso, você está na vantagem, porque você realmente pronunciou certo, o artistic. Então, mas eu entendi, né? E é uma palavra que para você exige um pouco, né? Você não lê automaticamente, né? Entendi, mas isso faz parte mesmo. E é por isso que é bom vocês lerem também em voz alta, até para acostumar com a pronúncia, né? Como eu falei na aula passada. Porque até os nossos músculos da face, da boca, eles são acostumados com uma língua latina, língua portuguesa. Então, até para nós nos adaptarmos, para falarmos inglês com facilidade, nós precisamos falar. E aí, ler em voz alta ajuda também. Por isso que é bom. Vocês que estão aproveitando, né, e estão lendo em voz alta, isso é uma ótima oportunidade para vocês. E para quem não pediu até agora ajuda, é muito bom vocês pedirem ajuda com a pronúncia. É sinal que vocês estão preocupados em realmente produzir o som certo, né? Porque o erro de pronúncia pode gerar mal-entendidos, ou a outra pessoa não entender você, né? Então, a pronúncia é importante para você ser bem entendida quando fala inglês. E aí, parabéns, vocês aí corajosos que estão enfrentando aí, lendo em voz alta e fazendo perguntas. É isso aí mesmo. Em inglês vocês têm que conviver com o inglês, ok? Very good. Vou dar uma pausa aqui, porque nós falamos um pouco sobre os producers, mas eu gostaria de falar um pouco, e dar um exemplo prático de producer. Então, eu vou botar um outro texto aqui na tela, para a gente aproveitar esse tempo de aula e dar pelo menos um exemplo de producer. Só um minutinho. Vamos falar um pouquinho, ler um pouquinho sobre esse produtor que é tão famoso, né? E é um ícone, praticamente. Então, vamos dar uma lida rápida sobre ele. Vamos lá, então. Who is a volunteer? Ana Beatriz loves Spike Lee, ok. Who else loves Spike Lee? So let's read about him. Who volunteers? Ana Beatriz, of course. Tati, ok. Tati says he's amazing. Beatriz Leal, everyone. Okay, I agree with you. Very good. So who is the volunteer to read this first paragraph?
Me.
Okay, you can read.
Spike Lee was born Shelton Jackson Lee on March 2020.
Okay.
190.
Okay. The date you can read in two parts. 1957. Okay.
1957.
Okay.
In Atlanta, Georgia. At a very young age, he moved from Civil Rights, Georgia, to Brooklyn, New York. Lee came from artistic education background. His father was a jazz musician and his mother a school teacher. He attended school in Morehouse College in Atlanta and developed his filmmaking skills at Clark Atlanta University.
Thank you. Thank you for reading. Do you have questions?
I have a question about the beginning, because every time we gonna see where we were born, we put the in, and here is like, was born Shelton Jackson. So is the in necessary, or
In this case, it's not necessary because the idea here is that his original name when he was born was Shelton Jackson Lee. Okay, that's why you don't need in because it's not.
okay? Now I get it. I thought it was the the place where he was born.
Yeah, he was, yes, okay. Later on, maybe after he became famous, he changed to Spike Lee, but his original name was this, Shelton Jackson Lee. Another question?
Danilo,
Yes.
education grounded background is homeschooling?
Education grounded means ground is like the chão, okay? So he had his background or his life history, like background, was with educational basis, okay? Because the ground is where we step, right? É onde a gente pisa. So education grounded. His education, his background was grounded with education. He had with education. Education in English is a little bit different from education in Portuguese. In Portuguese, education sometimes refers to degrees like university degree, in school, high school. And sometimes in Portuguese, education, educação, refers to being polite, okay? Você não tem educação. In this sentence, when we say this sentence, we are not talking about study. We are talking about the people are not polite, people are rude, okay? But in English, education refers to school, university. Do you understand?
Yes, him. ah, não consigo inglês, me deu branco. Mas ele tem uma formação artística, é isso que você quis dizer?
Não necessariamente artística, né?
Ah, tá.
Mas, assim, antes da vírgula tem a palavra artista. Então,
Uhum.
além da área educacional, ele tem a área artística também.
Ah, ok. Thank you.
You're welcome. É assim, gente, não fiquem com medo porque às vezes a pergunta você não consegue falar em inglês, mas você falando em português, eu te ajudo a explicar a coisa em inglês, ok? E se você ficar com vergonha porque não conseguiu falar em inglês e não falar em português, aí eu não vou saber a sua dúvida, aí você perde, tá bom? Ok. Anybody has another question about this paragraph? So let's continue talking about this amazing producer. Who can read, please? Is there a volunteer to read?
I can read.
Okay.
After graduating from Morehouse, Lee attended the Tisch School of Arts graduate film program. He made a controversial short, The Answer, 1980, a reworking of D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation in 1915, a 10-film Joe's Bad Styles, I don't know, Barbershop, We Cut Heads, 1983, which won a Student Academy Award. In 1986, Spike Lee made the film She's Gotta Have It. 1986, a comedy about sexual relationships. The movie was made for 175 and earned 7 million at the box office, which launched his career and allowed him to found his own production company, for 40 Acres and a New Film Works.
Okay, 40 Acres and a Bill Filmworks. It's funny, the name of his production company, right? Okay. Let me just correct you, the number, $175,000, okay? This amount here.
175.
25,000, okay? $1,000.
Okay, 1,000. 100, no, 1,075.
$175,000.
Now I get it. 175,000.
Very good. It's correct. And do you have questions about this paragraph? Does anyone has a question?
Acres. Is that the way that we pronounce?
Acres. This word here.
Acres.
Yes, it's the name of his production company, and acres is a measure, okay? Acres.
Mm.
Okay. Any other question? So here we can see that he made some very short films, right? And the film that really, you can say, launched his career was She's Gotta Have It, okay, a comedy about sexual relationships. The movie was made for $175,000 and earned 7 million at the box office. So that was his first, big stuff. Okay, and which launched his career. After this film, his career was launched. Okay, he became famous. It was in 1986. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
this film, she's gotta have it. E eu quero dizer que esse filme teve uma série baseada na Netflix. Só que eu não consigo dizer que esse filme teve uma série baseada na Netflix.
Okay, let me help you. To say this, you can say this film, She's Gotta Have It, has a series on Netflix, okay?
Ok.
It has a series. Does it still have a series, or was it in the past? Ainda tem essa série ou foi no passado?
In the past.
In the past, okay. She's Gotta Have It. Very good. Thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome.
Continue, people. Let's read a little more, then we finish, okay? Who can volunteer to read this one?
I can read.
Yes, thank you.
His next movie was School Days. A minute.
Okay.
88.
1988.
1988.
Okay.
Which, I have a question now.
Yes.
This
You can
word,
ask- Yes.
which I can pronunciation
Ah,
because
which?
have more words like this. I
Good.
can't I can't I can't pronunciation. I can't.
Yes. Actually, this word pronunciation, which, okay? Can you say it again? Which?
Which,
Yes, yes. Okay.
and the girl na vassoura, a bruxa.
That's a similar pronunciation. That girl is witch. This is the spelling. Can you see in the chat?
Yes.
Aí é bruxa, ok? Então, mas aí o que faz você entender é o contexto. Aqui nesse contexto você viu que não falou de uma bruxa. Agora, dependendo da
Mas é a
frase,
mesma pronúncia, então, né?
alguns native speakers, eles pronunciam o WH, não é em toda a região dos Estados Unidos, não, algumas regiões. Então, aí, para esses, diferencia, porque eles pronunciam o som do H, aí eles fazem assim, quit, quit. Aí fica diferente de bruxa. Mas a maioria, quit, quit. Você nem ouve o H, então fica praticamente igual. Aí é o contexto que vai dizer se é bruxa ou se é o pronome relativo, né?
E choose, de escolha. Aí, porque tem escolha que a palavra escolha também vai aparecer, né?
A palavra escolha é choice e o verbo é to choose, escolher.
Ok.
Ok? Então você tem choice e choose.
I go.
Ok.
Which was set at a historically black school, focused mostly on the conflict between the school and the fraternities, of which he was a strong critic, portraying them as materialistic, irresponsible, and uncaring, with which with his school days 1988 profiles, Lee went on to make his landmark film Do the Right Thing, 1989, a movie based specifically his own neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. The movie portrayed the racial tensions that emerged in the Bed-Stuy neighborhood on one very hot day.
Bed-Stuy, para mim, eu vou direto no Queens, né? O bairro lá do Queens, todo mundo isso. Bed-Stuy, é esse bairro aí. Então, gente, eu botei aqui porque o tempo venceu, mas eu marquei aqui assim, para a gente voltar nesse parágrafo, tá? Para a gente discutir esse parágrafo na próxima aula, aí a gente retoma a aula daqui, tá legal?
Okay.
Thank you for your participation and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.